Welcome to NRL Tonight. Round one is done. Here are the headlines. Leaving league for Union. Zac Lomax signs a 2-year deal at the Western Force with a World Cup dream. Alex Johnston moves within one try of Ken Irvine's record, but his coach tells fans to stay in their seats. And a crazy opening round gives us everything from golden points to no points, sending some to the bar wondering, what's the point?
We'll just have to have a big schooner of reality and move on.
A big schooner of reality. It was a reality hit for the pre-season performers. The Premiers were kept to nil, 2 golden point thrillers and plenty of points in a Warriors upset. To all that shortly, but first, Zac Lomax has moved on from his Melbourne quest to sign a 2-year deal with the Western Force. He has plenty of competition for a Wallabies berth in next year's World Cup, but he's backing himself in a new code.
It's the biggest story of the off-season. Now Zac Lomax has officially turned his back on the NRL.
Yeah, good on him, I think. Obviously, I felt for him with what he went through.
Lomax's move to the 15-man code comes after a messy exit from the Eels. The star winger was originally preparing to join the Rebel R360 competition, but when that was delayed a further 12 months, he was eager to sign with the Melbourne Storm. That attempt was sensationally blocked by his former club and the New South Wales Supreme Court due to contract breaches, with Parramatta stating he couldn't sign with a rival club without their consent until October 2027.
He put himself in that position, so I'm not going to say I felt sorry for him, but as a person, you do just have care for people, and I think, yeah, he was in a pretty compromising position, but it's good to see that he's come out of it because he's a quality player.
Lomax has signed a 2-year contract with the Western Force. Means the 26-year-old is now eligible to play for the Wallabies at the 2027 Rugby World Cup.
Well, I think Zac is a freak, so I think he'll be great at the game of rugby, and I'm just glad to see that he's sort of got his future worked out. You know, he's ended up in a pretty tough spot there, so I felt really badly for him, but I'm glad that, yeah, he's got his future worked out, so it's good for him.
Lomax's move comes after star Roosters pair Angus Crichton and Mark Nwanganitawaze also inked deals to switch codes next season, but Crichton insists he has his eyes firmly set on the NRL in 2026.
I'm just so focused on where I am right now and the job in front of us. I think, I just need to make sure we win this week and we'll worry about next year, and worry about the year after that.
Western Force coach Simon Cron said the move has been in motion since late last year. Lomax's first appearance for the Force could be as soon as this month. The Perth-based side are struggling this season, losing 3 of their 4 games to sit second last in the Super Rugby Pacific. Stephanie Clarkson, Fox Sports News.
Yes, the Roosters are more interested in stopping the Rabbitohs on Friday. Angus Crichton will line up for NRL game 200. Today, reflecting on a time he wondered if he'd get anywhere near that number. In 2023, the star forward stepped away from the game after being diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
I've sort of grown up in this club here. I think I came here as I think I signed when I was 21 and I came across when I was 20, end of 2018, so I was 22. And yeah, I've sort of grown up here. I've made mistakes here. I've been supported and guided. I've learnt lessons and grown up as a person, a man, as a player. And yeah, like I was saying, I've met incredible friends and made incredible memories that'll last me forever here. And yeah, it'll always hold a very special place in my heart.
Gus, you mentioned the turbulent times back there. 200 games is a lot. I mean, were there ever times that you thought you might not make it this far, you might not get to bring up this milestone?
Yeah, well, definitely a lot of people were talking like that. I remember around 2023, a lot of people were saying that I wouldn't play NRL again, and if people were questioning whether I'd play sport again. So I think a lot of people did doubt it, but I think personally, deep down, I knew that that was never an option for me. I think, yeah, I've got such a great support system around me and such a special group of people that I'm so lucky to call my friends and family. So I definitely lent on them through those times, but To be honest, I think it was the making of myself. I learned a lot about myself and a lot about who I am and what I'm capable of, and also the strength of my friends and my family. So I'm very blessed.
Yeah, well, like, obviously you feel the rivalry. It's something that I think probably earlier in my career was pushed a bit more in the under-20s and all that, you know. Your coach would be into you about going out there and trying to sort of smash them. But I think, yeah, as sort of you go through your career, like, you know, it's just, you look forward to these games because of the energy that comes with it. You know, you don't sort of like, you want to go and play in these big games, and you know there's going to be a big crowd here, there's going to be a lot of talk about it throughout the week, but we need to focus on ourselves. Like, we've got things to fix up from last week that, you know, are more pressing than our rivalry with South Sydney, and if we can go and do that, then we know we can go and beat them on Friday night, but it's up to us.
Yes, Friday night, Allianz Stadium, Roosters, South Sydney. The home team to be without Spencer Leniu for at least 4 weeks after a moderate hamstring injury. The stage is set for Alex Johnston to match or beat Ken Irvine's try-scoring record against the arch enemy. He moved to 211 tries, one short of Irvine's long-time mark when he crossed against the Dolphins yesterday. Johnston's coach was asked if the crowd should celebrate the record when it comes by storming the ground.
Wayne, Alex needs 2 tries to break the record. You hoping the fans run on the field when he does?
No, I don't. I do not. No, it's not our game. No. So don't you start writing it.
You accept it'll probably happen though, don't you?
No, I don't accept it probably happen. I don't see what should happen. No comprehension why it should happen. Well, it's a respect to the game. That's the important thing here. Okay, that we play for 80 minutes, you stay off the field, you know, regardless. And I believe in that. Yeah. At the end of the game, no problems.
Are you concerned about player safety, or is that not part of it?
It's just not part of it, mate. I prefer we didn't talk about it, and we won't be encouraging people to do it. And the last thing I do want to see a game of football, and all of a sudden, you know, there's how many are we going to allow on the field? Where's that going to stop? And how long before the game gets started again, and all the other things, and all the things that can happen with it. So let's not encourage it. Let's make sure it doesn't happen. And be respectful for the game and for him and all the guys that play the game.
Our Monday regular is Steve Blocker-Roach. Pitch invasion or not?
Well, I think we should celebrate it. I don't usually go against Wayne Bennett, but I think we should celebrate it. I mean, Kenny Irvine's record stood for 50 years since we've seen another bloke pass his... Well, mightn't happen in this game, but it happened down the track. I reckon they should sound a siren, and then 5 minutes later sound the siren again.
Yes.
And get them off. Get extra security there that day. I really honestly think that we should celebrate it.
Our colleague Warren Smith sent us a note yesterday. Thank you, Woz, for pointing out that Ken Irvine broke Harold Horder's try-scoring record of 152 back in 1969. When Johnston breaks Irvine's record of 212 in coming weeks, it will be only 3 men have been the premiership try-scoring king in more than 100 years. So it puts it in perspective, doesn't it? Only 3 men have owned the title of leading try-scorer in 100 years. So it's big. So how do we make this moment then, if we can't run on the field, according to Wayne, how do you make that moment as memorable as it should be for the game? You're saying that if the fans are so inclined and there's a natural invasion and surrounding him, I sort of think to myself, if there's a handshake and a huddle by the team, then we move on. I just don't feel that's adequate. Well, in my mind blocker, I've got images of a beaming Alex Johnston being hoisted on the shoulders of fans and still photos and vision that last forever, the fans enjoying this very rare moment. So I'm not necessarily against the invasion.
If that's the case and we don't have an invasion, do something after the game. Get one of Ken Irvine's family there to pass on the baton. I reckon they should make a big thing of this.
It's not part of our game. Wayne's right. We don't normally allow fans or promote fans running on, but would Lockett's AFL record or Franklin's 1,000th goal have been as good without the fans flooding the SCG. Those pictures were broadcast around the world, and even people who don't consume AFL regularly can recall what a great moment that was.
What if it takes another 50 or 60 years to beat the record when he actually gets the record? So, I mean, we should celebrate those sort of things. That's just my opinion.
Player safety is an issue, but
player safety is going to.
But it wasn't an issue when the AFL fans invaded.
No,
and we've stopped games for 20 minutes for lightning, for hail. We have stopped games before. And if ever there's a rare moment to see a game paused, this might be
Who's going to take on the South Pack as a fan?
And just finally, do you think telling Aussies, sports fans, rugby league fans, not to do something makes it less likely?
Well, I think Aussies go against the grain a lot of times. You tell them not to do it, and all of a sudden they will.
And before we leave this, should the leading try scorer each season continue to get the Irvine medal, or should it be renamed to whoever is atop the game's all-time try-scoring list? So does it become the Johnston medal?
Yeah, no, I'd like to see both their names on the medal. I'd like to see it split now. You know, the record, as I said, it's been 50 years in the making. So
but then do we need to go Horder, Irvine, Johnston
how many
medal?
tries did he score, do you know?
152.
Yeah, OK, that's a pretty good record.
Anyway, that's probably not the biggest issue in the game. Blockers' big call, the first of the season a few weeks ago, was South Sydney to finish top 4. I assume then, Stephen, you weren't surprised to see them perform the way they did yesterday, given your big call is that they will finish top 4.
Oh, I just love, I think the new game suits them with the 6 agains all the time, you know, with both sides. If they get an even share of the ball, I think they're most potent attacking side in the competition. And they showed yesterday, you know, a lot of people, including myself, had the Dolphins up there. But South Sydney, they virtually destroyed them.
Yeah, that left edge with Walker there, Latrell Mitchell, Johnston, and now David Fafita. Here they are on the right, and Campbell Graham was fantastic there. Give us your quick thoughts on David Fafita yesterday.
I thought he was outstanding. He looks like he's happy. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, with those guys, Latrell and Walker feeding you the football, I think he's going to have a breakout season. And he had a smile on his face. There was a couple of times that the Dolphins tried to get stuck into him too when he had the ball. It didn't worry him, he just kept playing on. So, you know, they're good signs for him. I think he's a superstar. Mate, I've always thought he's a great player. Just probably hasn't been in the right headspace a lot of the time. Wayne Bennett's got the ability to put him in the right headspace.
Fantastic start by South Sydney after last year's injury-riddled campaign. They jump on the road and jump to a big score, Latrell Mitchell front and centre. Now, what about the play here from Cody Walker, the 36-year-old? At this point, the Dolphins had come within 6 of them. They had all the momentum, and Cody goes bang with a big 40-20. Can you believe that was the first 40-20 of his 11-year NRL career?
Well, you know, Matty, I've got an answer for everything, as you know. Look, he's too busy setting up tries. He would have set up over 200 tries over his career, no doubt about it. A wonderful ball player. It's probably not in his head. First time that he's kicked a 40-20. What'd you say, 11 seasons?
Yeah. Wow. Number 1. And after that, South Sydney had the next 5 sets, scored 2 tries, game over. That had to be the play of the game.
Well, that's the thing about that South Sydney side. With so many attacking weapons in their side, they can score tries in bunches. And it proved that they could do that yesterday.
That game wrapped up the first round. For what it's worth, yes, not much at this time of year, I know. Here's the ladder. Differential has Melbourne and Cronulla on top after both reached 50 in their big wins. Off the back of that, a Melbourne player gives us Blockers' big call this week. What are you going to say about Harry Grant?
We've had some magnificent hookers over a long period of time, 100-odd years that we've been going. I think this guy is the most explosive hooker. Now, hear me out, the most explosive hooker, not the best hooker.
Whatever.
I think he's the most explosive hooker out of dummy half that I've seen.
You had a fairly handy dummy half who liked to run when you were playing.
Well, he was Benny Elias. He was a great ball player, but I don't think that he's got this bloke's speed off the mark. A lot of people will say Cookie from St George and also formerly of South Sydney, but this bloke, he's got explosive speed out of dummy half and he reads the markers so well.
Blocker's big call, Harry Grant, the game's most explosive dummy half ever. His 2 tries helped make it a tough old night for Parramatta. That was in the round just gone. I'll take you back to this Golden Point game last year where Penrith were trying to take down Melbourne and Harry Grant was at it again. Remember this, Blocker? So those performances you talk about it's not just the last few weeks. He's been doing it season on season on season.
Mate, I mean, how are we going to talk about him in his career? If he plays another 8 or 9 seasons, mate, we're going to be talking about him up with the best probably of all time in Cameron Smith. But I reckon we'll be talking about him in the same vein. He won the Golden Boot last year as the best player in the whole game. So he's going to get better and better, Harry.
Grant was instrumental in Melbourne's win, but was there a better player in round 1 than Cronulla's Braden Trindall? 2 tries, 4 try assists, a 40-20. He had 6 Dally M points wrapped up by, I reckon, the 30-minute mark.
Well, we both did that game down there at Shark Park. Mate, I said at half-time, mate, don't even worry about coming out in the second half of the man of the match. He did everything in the first half. He was absolutely outstanding. Nicho Hynes wasn't far behind him. Big test this week, but against the Panthers in Bathurst.
Trindall was one of 4 players to poll a perfect 6 Dally M points. There he is putting Nicho Hynes over. He just, everything he touched turned to gold, Braden Trindall. He, Ethan Sanders, Jackson Ford, Kalen Ponga lead the way. Below them, 6 other stars out of round 1. Edwards, Grant, Yeo, Crichton, Utoa Kamanu and Brown, of course, Parramatta and Gold Coast. Finished 1-2 in the pre-season challenge. Here are their coaches after their teams crashed back to earth with a thud.
Yeah, it's round 1. Let's not lose sight of that fact. But, yeah, I think on the back of what Mitchell said and what we mentioned earlier, the disappointment is probably we sort of evolved ourselves to a standard of play that didn't look like that tonight. So some really good lessons, and we'll just have to have a big schooner of reality and move on.
Win or lose tonight wasn't going to define us this year. I'm disappointed for the players, I'm disappointed for the club, because I think there's been a lot of hope built up over the last 4 months, and you sort of walk in here tonight with high hopes. But as I say, one game's not going to diminish all that. I know this playing group are capable of better, but I've also said to them there's going to be pain.
Yes, it's on again this weekend. The Gold Coast hope with less pain. Confirmation today, North Queensland will challenge Braden Burns' Grade 2 careless high tackle charge. Tomorrow, seeking a downgrade. Remember this on Kalen Ponga in the opening game of the season in Vegas. Ponga bounced up, but Burns was sin-binned and left facing a 2-game suspension. Now it's 3 games. If he fails tomorrow night, Steve Roach, the question has to be asked. Have North Queensland been speaking to Ivan Cleary? Are the Cowboys empowered by Nathan Cleary's downgrade for a similar shot?
Well, you'd have to say yes. Obviously, you know, going in there to fight it, you're going to get an extra game if you get beat, but they must have different vision.
Still frames like Ivan, perhaps?
All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They'll look at that, and obviously they think that the tackle was a lot similar. He got off. Maybe they're looking for a little bit of consistency.
Let's see what happens tomorrow night. After the break, Blocker shares the love with the Warriors forwards and a young Canberra halfback. Plus, we're off to Brisbane after the Broncos were beaten to 0. This is NRL Tonight. Brisbane have vowed to bash their next halfback on Thursday when they host future Bronco, Jonah Pezet. Parramatta's playmaker was targeted heavily by Melbourne last week, and the under-pressure Premiers are expected to follow the same path.
Jonah Pezet shouldn't expect a warm welcome in Brisbane.
We've signed players and they've played at another team as well, and knowing that they're coming here, and I think you just got to get on with your job.
The one-year Eel is signed to the Broncos, but on Thursday he'll be trying to beat them. Melbourne successfully targeted the 23-year-old in round 1. Tony Staggs was watching.
Yeah, they were sending some traffic down to him, so I think we won't change it. We'll probably put Ricky on him and make him make tackles. So we'll focus on that game come this morning, and but yeah, I feel like we can get some joy down that edge.
Both clubs coming off disappointing defeats. Para a 52-4 thrashing from the Storm. Brisbane's a 26-0 shutout at the hands of Penrith. Only the second time a defending premier has laid an egg in their season opener. Uncharacteristically shy under the high ball, Brisbane were well off the pace on their way to 18 errors.
That tells the story there. So I don't think you've seen any team that has 18 errors and 60% of the ball that to win a game. So yeah, we just got to obviously make sure we're in the right position. Obviously they were more hungry to get the ball than us, and yeah, obviously we'll work on that. And everyone's got a role to play when the kick goes up, and we just can't stop moving our feet until we get the ball back.
Brisbane now 0-2 against first-grade opposition in 2026. Stags denies they're recovering from a premiership hangover.
Premiers was last year, and that's last year, so we're focused on this year, and we're going into this comp as a normal team, as going for the same prize as what every other team's going for.
Wet weather has smashed Brisbane since Saturday, but is expected to clear in time for Thursday's match. Josh Bristow, Fox Sports News.
Well, Steve Roach, the point that impressed you was the way that Penrith stopped Brisbane scoring. As you have a look at some of this vision, what were you so excited about in the Panthers' defence?
Well, the best thing about that, they lead 18 points to nil, and all of a sudden, the desperation to stop the opposition from scoring, keeping them to 0. And that's the Brisbane Broncos, won the comp last year. Have a look at this defence. Unbelievable. They're leading 18 points to nil. That sort of defence wins premierships.
Yeah.
That's why they are so good.
Even when they had a safe margin, there was scramble like this on the goal line.
Mate, do you know how hard Katoni Staggs is that close to the line to stop?
Very impressive, absolutely spot on. They were giants defensively. You wanted a new element on the show this year. I love it. Blockers one to watch. The first is, drum roll that we don't have, please, Penrith's Billy Phillips. The late Cargelligo 21-year-old made his presence felt off the bench in only his second NRL game. What did you like about Billy?
Well, just the nursery coach producing out there at Penrith. Big, lean, tall, playing in the middle in this game, played in the back row. Look, I just think that he's an outstanding young player, and I really like that sort of segment where we're going to, week in and week out, if we mightn't do it every week, but watch one of the young kids coming through, and he's our first. The
game might lose the odd star, but we get two coming through the ranks. Yeah. Now, what surprised you more, the way Brisbane or the Roosters lost? Both of them heavily, because they were disappointing. Both of them, maybe equally so.
Yeah, it's going to take them a while to get going. There's no doubt about that. Look, I didn't mind the way the Roosters moved the football around against the Warriors. The ball just didn't go to hand. It won't take long. Give them another month, and mate, things will start to stick for them.
How about Jackson Ford? 22 carries. He was fantastic for the Warriors.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. I think he had like that 10 minutes into the second half. He had a bit of a stinger on the shoulder too, but got up and played on. He was courageous. Their forward pack is going to cause some damage this season too. You have a look at the guys on the pine and on the bench come on and cause some sort of havoc. So it was a great win. They're first up there over there in New Zealand, and a lot of sides will be looking over their shoulder at the Warriors.
Jackson Ford started. Leka Halasima, one of those players you mentioned off the bench who came on and scored a try. 404 points in round one, second most ever behind 1995, but the most points for an 8-game opening round. Possession and momentum, equal points in the modern game. That was pretty evident at Manly on Saturday, Blocker. What did you think of the modern game over the weekend? Oh,
I love the modern game. But the one thing we've got to sort of simmer down a little bit is the 6 agains. I've said it before the last couple of years that the 6 again, you know, when they say, play the ball infringement or whatever, I want to know a little bit more about why the penalties or the 6 agains are being given. So anyway, that's just one thing in the game. But the game has never been faster. If you get 6 or 7 of those 6 agains against you, very hard to defend, very hard to get back and up all the time.
Manly all the ball for the first 11 minutes against Canberra. Right. Then the Raiders got their hands on the pill, and eventually it was the hands of Ethan Sanders, who scored a try and then delivered the golden point field goal as he takes ownership of the Canberra number 7. How important is a game like that early on in your career, Steve?
I think this kid just looks calm. I mean, you know, the thing you want from your number 7 is to be able to defend front on, and also in big situations want the ball. Here's the end of the game where he kicks the field goal. Mate, he was calm as you like, just plots it over. And I thought he was great for the Canberra Raiders, young fella. Against
Jamal Fogarty, the former Raider who threatened to win it for Manly, but it was Ethan Sanders delivering for Ricky Stewart. Round 2, let's have a look at what's ahead. It starts at Suncorp Stadium on Thursday with a couple of badly beaten teams in round 1. You're off to Bathurst on Saturday night, Blocker. Didn't Penrith and Cronulla set that game up.
Wow, that's going to be the match of the weekend out there at Bathurst. It's always great there. Penrith take one home game there every season for the last few seasons, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
The Tigers off a first-round bye are at Leichhardt against the Cowboys. You must be looking forward to the 8th wonder and Benji leading your Tigers into a new season.
We could go to the top of the competition. We got the first 2 points. Cowboys at home at Leichhardt. Big crowd. Let's hope the Tigers can get home.
And no Queensland winners in round 1. They went 0-4. But the Dolphins host the Titans on Sunday evening, so a couple of badly beaten teams. At least the Sunshine State will get a glimmer of goodness, because there's got to be at least one winner out of that game.
Well, let's hope so. And let's hope the Dolphins, I didn't think they were that bad against South yesterday. They can score points too, so that'll be a good one also.
You said you've got one word for the Dolphins and the Titans. Is it tackle or is it defence?
Defence. They think defence is something that goes around the ground.
Stephen, we'll see you next Monday. Up next on Fox Sports News, Gemma Barge with your sporting headlines. On Fox League, it's time for NRL 360.